Hi there! My name is Sunny, and yes, I'm still alive. This is Butler. He's just here to help. He's a troublemaker, and the chief reason why I didn't make this video earlier is because my eyes were completely red from him sitting on my face this morning. So it's February finally, and I've been avoiding making videos because not really very much has been going on. There's a lot of things that I've been wanting to do, and I'm just kind of trying to let my brain kind of come to it naturally, and finally I feel like there's going to be some progress being made. Now that we're in February, the sun is starting to come out. It was so snowy and wintry and overcast for so long here up in snowy Minnesota that I just kind of let myself kind of ride through the bulk of the winter. But February's here. I keep saying that. February's here like it's like a big thing, like you should understand what exactly February means. I'm going to be doing some more updates on my writing. I'm going to be doing some updates on some of my cross-stitch stuff in the next week or so. So more videos will be coming out soon. However, today I kind of wanted to talk about the other hobby that I have that I've actually started making progress on again, and that is reading. I stopped reading for a while. And that usually happens in the winter, especially around NaNoWriMo. I stop reading and I don't allow myself to pick it back up, or maybe I do, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling like reading, and finally the other day I actually stopped midway through a couple of books. I've been like carrying them around in my purse for forever, but never actually picking it up and reading. I've been just playing on my phone for the past month, I guess. And so the other day I was sitting hanging out with my roommate, and I thought to myself, oh, how did that book ever turn out? I didn't finish it, that's right. Okay, well maybe I should sit down and read that. So I did. And it's actually a book that I've read before, so that I think was why I was asking myself the question, well, do you remember how it ends? Because if you remember how it ends, you don't have to finish reading it, right? Yes, one less thing to worry about. But no, I could not remember how it ended because I read it in high school, and that was, you know, forever ago. So the book that I finished was The Way of the Traitor by Laura Jo Rowland. I've read most, well, I can't say most because she published a bunch more of these books, but I read like half of this series. It's a detective story set in feudal Japan, and the detective is like the chief detective of the shogun, and I don't know, it's just interesting stuff. I was obsessed with Japan when I was in high school, so I got really into those and decided to pick them up last year. I wanted to read all of them last year, but that didn't work because that's the is it the second? No, that's the third book in the series. Didn't get very far. But now I'm like, my mind is running with it. I'm like, oh, the next one is when he gets a wife. He has an arranged marriage and he doesn't like the wife. And I remember being really excited about that whole part of the story, and I'm really excited to move forward in that series. And last year I bought several of the books that I didn't have. So I have a bunch of books ready to go, so I'll be able to read those pretty soon. But I wanted to get to some of my other books that I've been avoiding reading. But the real reason I wanted to make this video today is because I finished a book last night. I read basically more than half of the book in one day, and I don't do that. That's really hard for me to do, and it means that I was so engrossed in the story that I didn't want to do anything else. And I love doing other things. I have a lot of passions and a lot of hobbies, and I want to try to get them all done in a day. And if I'm just sitting there reading a whole day, I kind of feel like I've wasted my day. But that book was so good, and I really wanted to finish it because I've been holding on to this book in my purse for so long that it needed to be done. So this was what I was reading. This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I picked it up last year in July. I had just quit my job, and suddenly I had all of this free time, and then I realized, oh my god, Victoria Schwab has a book signing for this book coming up, and I already had a copy, but when I went to the book signing, I got another copy, and so I have 2 copies of this. I don't really know what to do with the second one yet. I think once the second book in the series comes out, maybe I'll do a giveaway or something. I don't know. I have both of them signed. One is for me. She's one of my favorite authors, and it was really nice to meet her. I was so nervous and awkward. But the reason why she's one of my biggest inspirations is that it seems that she's really honest with the struggle of writing, I guess. It seems like even though she's published 10 books, middle grade, YA, and adult books, it seems like, you know, throughout the process, it's still a struggle for her. Maybe not necessarily a struggle at this point with 10 books, but like there's still the anxiety that it's not good enough, that you're not going to create something that people would want to read, and that it's just not going to work, and that kind of thing. To see that there's an established author that's really talented that still kind of goes through those emotions, that's kind of an inspiration. Plus, like, seriously, 10 books and she's basically my age. What? But back to this one. This Savage Song. This is like YA. It's set in like an alternate version of our world in the city called Verity. And Verity is full of monsters and bad people and people that are scared of the monsters and bad people. And the 2 main characters in this book are Kate and August. Kate wants to be a monster and August wants to be human. Kate is a human and August is a monster. So the way that their stories collide is very compelling and really interesting. August is a certain type of monster that's not really a monster. I mean, it is when you get down to it, but his type of monster is one that can be somebody that can impose justice on like the sinners in the world, and that's kind of his lot in life at this point, and he's not really satisfied with his situation. He wants to feel more, and he doesn't want to do these bad things that he feels that he's forced to do, and he doesn't want to take people's souls, and he just wants to play his song and just be a human. And I think throughout the course of the book we realize maybe he's a little bit more connected to being human than he thought he was. And Kate is also a very interesting character. She's the daughter of like this big huge mob boss who is basically in control of half of the city, and he sells protection. So he basically owns most of the monsters in the northern half of the city, and he sells protection to the citizens that if they have a certain necklace, they are safe from the monsters. The monsters will not attack them. So he's basically running a racket, and she just wants to be his daughter. I mean, she is his daughter, but she wants to be loved by him or cared by him, or at least acknowledged that, yes, you are my daughter and you are worth being my daughter. And so she feels that she has to become this cruel, horrible person, just like he is. And August and Kate's paths cross due to some of the politics of the book and the world that they're in, and some really interesting things happen. They find in each other. It really didn't. Should I say that? Is that a spoiler? I'll probably take it out. But the way that these 2 characters connect, it kind of drove the story for me, and maybe that's why, like, I hadn't gotten to the point in the novel where these characters really kind of connected, and so I didn't have a strong drive to finish it, and so it was way too easy for me to put it down. That's not to say that the book wasn't good. It was really good and interesting. It's just that I am typically driven by human connections in stories, and once we got to that point, I couldn't put it down. Overall, I give the book a 4 to 4.5 stars out of 5 because I was so engrossed by it and I really felt for the characters. The ending The ending felt really long. I felt like I was really like getting into the meat and the end of it for so many pages, which was really satisfying. There's some books where the climax and the ending are so short, and then, you know, you have your falling resolution, and sure, things kind of wrap up, but it's like, wow, it's over. I need more, and while I really want more of this story, it felt complete, it felt whole. Spending so long on the conflict and the climax and all of these things happening, it was really very satisfying, and I really enjoyed what was going on, and I couldn't actually predict what was going to happen. I had a couple of predictions going on in my brain, and I was like, oh, it's got to be, and then it would be flipped on its head, and then be like, what? And then maybe like a shade of that was kind of true, and I don't know, it was a good ending. So that's why the rating is so high, is because it kept me on my toes, and I really enjoyed the connection between the characters. The world is incredibly interesting, and I'm excited to read another book in it. So this is a 2-book series. It's a duology. The second one has been announced, and I can't remember the release date. I'll probably put it on the screen here. Plus the cover has already been announced. So now it's just a waiting game. I think maybe that's why I wanted to wait to read it, is that the second one is going to come out and I'll probably want to like read them together. But I've been waiting for her books long enough that that's fine. That's fine. I'll just read it again. It's worth reading again. So I'm really excited to have finally finished a book. February seems to be when I get my ass kicked and I start getting productive. So look out for a couple other videos over the next couple of weeks. Definitely something talking about my plans for the year, something talking about my writing and the revision of Prismatis. So that's coming. I'm opening up my Etsy shop later this month, so there's gonna be something about that, and just generally life is moving on and I'm excited about it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please pick up the book. It's a great book. Maybe the paperback will be out soon. I'm excited for the second one to come out, and I will definitely be doing a review of the Shades of Magic trilogy once I've finished it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye! Don't start rolling your eyes.